centimeter. Right? So you're not going to use that anymore. Now we have something else to change with this. Dim ASZ, right? Remember that one? Dim arrow size? What size should it be, Amy?
It should be an
1/8 inch, 0.125. Center marks, we've talked extensively about this. You don't do a lot of center marks here because we don't have a lot of circles, so I wouldn't really even worry about it. That's the dim send variable, right? I think that's it in here. Let's go to the text tab. What are we changing here?
Text style.
Yeah, dim text style. That should be set to our 1/8 inch text. So Arch1, as soon as you do that, everything else on here gets grayed out on you because you don't need it. Text style will take care of it. What else do we take on here?
That's it, huh?
We got to change dim gap.
Yeah.
What's that? Say that please loud.
Do you put the align with dimension line?
Yeah, line dimensions with, because they're not all going to be.
Oh, yeah, okay. So remember, this was a couple variables, dim TIF and, or TIX and TOX and how they were set up, and just click on the align. I can't remember which that toggles one of them on, one of them off. So go align. Now we have one other box to change, and it's dim gap. Dim gap occurs in 2 places here. Okay. Right up here, draw frame around text. That's a basic dimension. We won't have any basic dimensions in here. The dim gap also appears down here. That is the distance between where the dimension line is chopped and your text starts. That's half your letter height, right? So in this case, we need 0625 on it. Fit tab. What about this one?
Why don't you just leave it, that one?
Make sure it's annotated
This one
if you
right here?
didn't click annotative at the very beginning.
Move it
That-
to 2.
It'd be the 2.
Excuse me, as an instructor, I kind of like to have fun with this. This is the variable name, that one right there. Does anybody know? Do you remember?
Dim text?
Yeah.
Dim text. Turn on dim text. And what that does is turns dim AT-fit off, right? The 4 values of it. So that's that one. Everything else on here is probably pretty good. Primary units.
Switch to architectural.
Yeah.
Okay. So DML unit should be set to
Architectural
architectural.
to 16th, horizontal.
Precision to 16th.
5.
Again, to match our tolerance. Dims in, we have to change. Now, when you come to the dims in, if you remember the standards, when we have something that is an even foot, like this, we include the 0. We always include the inches. Yes, sir?
Sorry to interrupt. Is anybody driving Mini Cooper here? Yeah, lights are on.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Thank you.
I'm
So
gonna keep
if
that.
we have an even foot, we include the 0. When we get less than a foot, we can suppress the feet. So you can write a dimension like this. So in essence, what you want to do here is you want to suppress feet, not inches. Because we always put inches. So take the inches off. Units are fine. Okay, we're done. Nice job.
You want to change your fractional format there?
No.
Horizontal, diagonal, you don't know there? Okay.
Close. All right, let's just, now on multi-leader, we use the same types. You don't use an architectural tick, you use a closed arrow, but you will be using the spline one. Remember how we set the spline one up? Just in the interest of time, let's not go into this. You can use a design center. You can bring in your Mech 1, the spline, and the linear one if you wish, but you're going to need both of those. Okay. All right, so we're done with our dimensioning criteria. What else do we need to do?
set up our layout space.
Okay, so before we jump to that, we gotta go do our layout space. Anything else in model space we need to do?
We got our units.
So the scales are not.
No, not yet, because we don't know what scale we're drawing to.
Don't have to set your annotation scale until you start annotating.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll always draw 1-to-1.
Are we gonna,
Personal preference stuff. Do you want a grid? Okay, do you draw with a grid? I don't. If you do, I would recommend you set it up to maybe 6 inches, a foot, whatever the case might be. Snaps. What kind of snaps do you have here? You're not going to have many circular items. Okay, so I'm going to set this to more of a linear type of draw. And I'm going to set polar and snaps just so I don't have to come in here. And generally on this discipline, the 3 I use all the time are end, mid, and intersection. So that's all I put for my running snaps. Now I think you've probably determined from my drawing that I like things stripped down. Okay? I
Yeah.
don't like a lot of nonsense on there. But you may choose more than this. You may like perpendicular. You're going to be running perpendicular quite often. Okay. Although my intersect with polar will do my perpendicular for me, so I don't need it. Just choose whatever you wish here.
Oh, angles. Your O-snap angles.
Okay, then I'm going to go to my polar tracking tab. And folks, primarily you're going to be at 90 degrees only. So I'd set that to 90. You won't have any 3D snaps or whether you use dynamics or any of that. Set it up how you wish. Okay, so that's okay. All right, I'm going to set my border layer current because let's go to paper space and we set these up. Now, you're going to want a bunch of paper spaces here. Okay? I mean, a bunch of them. Okay? And you can rename these to keep track of what's going on. Okay? So we're going to make a bunch of them in a second, but first let's make our title block. Now, first off, I don't know what your title block's going to look like, but I want to get you set up to start with. What did your packet tell you your border should be set at? I think it was under drawing step 1 or 2. Not the packet that you got in your mailbox, it's your original packet that spelled out what was going on with your instructions. Yep, 22 by 34. Or, in essence, we're going to go landscape, so 34 by 22. Now, the reason we're doing this is so that we can print 2 B sheets and a D sheet. Now, this is slightly smaller than a D, but when we print to a B sheet at our half scale, and we'll cover that shortly in next week or so, we're going to this printer. How much room does that printer need around the edges? Because that's my sheet size right there.
Quarter of an inch.
Yeah, this one needs a 1/4 inch on each side. Okay. Now remember, we need to fudge a hair smaller. So what I'm in essence going to do, since I've got a title block, right, it needs a 1/4 inch on all sides. Okay. So in essence, I take a 1/2 inch from both of these. So the size of my border is going to be
33.5.
33.5 by 21.5. Now, remember, you got a thick border line here. And if you make it exactly this size, you're taking the chance that you're going to chop off half this line or something that won't fit in there. So I would recommend you take another 5/100ths off just to take care of that line. Remember, that's 0.31 thickness, so it's 3/100ths. Let's take another 5/100ths off to give us double the line, or approximately, and make our math easy. So my title block, or my border, is going to be 33.45 by 21.45. Okay. So that's going to be my entire title block. So in paper space, I'm just going to use the rectangle command, click anywhere you really want, and I'm going to do at 33.45, comma, 21.45. Did I do all my math right up there?
Yeah.
Because I've been known
Well,
to make mistakes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you take off .25 from one
Quarter
side
inch.
and .25 from another side, wouldn't it be 33.75? Or are you adding those two and it makes .5 and you take off .5 from both sides?
The 34 is the total width.
Yeah.
Okay, now I need a 1/4 inch on this side, 1/4 inch on this side. So I added those two together to get 1/2 inch.
Okay, and then the other two?
That's where I subtracted here. I subtracted 1/2 inch.
And he's taking it this way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another 1/4 here, Amy, on top and bottom. It's all around. All right, your title block needs to fit into here. This should be one of your jobs today, is to take an hour and define your title block. It will be up to you how it looks. But I will tell you, don't use R's. Most of the time what you're going to do is come over on the right side. Let me just explode this. And I'm going to do an offset of like 3. Your title block's probably going to sit right in here on this side. Now the reason we do that is because these always come in drawing sets. We staple them on this side, so as you're flipping through them like that set over there, you're flipping that bottom right-hand corner to find your sheet size. So make sure you set it up that way. Let me give you a quick example. Let me just open, I'm going to open real quick.
How did you get that?
Yeah.
The like through one?
I don't know, I think he just drew it, whatever distance. Whatever. Because we're creating our own title block. So however you want it to look, or
Okay,
it has
so
to look
here's-
something like that.
Here's my title block that I gave you before. So as you come through, and I tell you in your original packet, page 43 through 46 or something is where the author covers title blocks. I would highly recommend, look through all these flat files and hanging files. There's an architectural folder and there's a bunch of them in there. Grab one you like or elements of one that you like. Don't copy one exactly. You're breaking copyright rules, right? You need to develop your own. But it will have these types of components. You need to have a sheet size in the bottom right-hand corner somewhere. Okay. Then after that, generally you're going to have a spot for you, because this is your advertising. Okay. That stuff is going to get you business. You want people to know you drew it. Well, hopefully you want people to know you drew this. Okay, so usually, and it can be small. Some people do a picture or a logo or whatever the case might be. It doesn't have to be big like this, where I got CSI Drafting Club. In here, date, who drew it, scale, the client. Give the client a fairly prominent area. They like to see their names on it. They're paying your bills. Give them a prominent area. You should have a drawing section. Okay, what is on here? So this is my sheet title up here. Now usually I put, if I got any revisions, it's going right up in here where I just list the dates of my revisions. Okay. So we do many times have a revision block. Okay. I don't add that until I have a revision. You can change your font in here. I actually change mine quite a bit. I go with a real blocky one so that it prints very thick. But you can use whatever you want. Don't use art style. I will tell you that. That looks terrible in a big font. It looks terrible. Yes?
You said the pages 43 through 46. What book are they in?
The architectural
The
book.
Bergen.
If you want, you can also, your Bertolini text has stuff on it too.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just don't know the pages.
All right, so you design this. Now, once you get this designed, I would recommend don't put any viewports in it. Okay, we'll wait till we get our drawings and figure out how we're going to plot them, because we might have one drawing here or we might have 6, and we don't know the scale. So we'll just wait and do the viewports later. The other thing you're going to want to do is set this up. You know you're going to do a bunch of sheets. Some people just copy the title block here all the way across. I think it makes more sense to actually use your layout. So real quickly, let me show you this. If I want to rename a layout, all I do is go down and click on it. There's a rename option. And I'm going to call this one's my floor plan sheet. once I've got that, oops, then there's a little plus button. So I'll click on that one and let me rename this guy. So this one's gonna be foundation, and generally you'll set these up in the order you're gonna print them. Okay? And I'm gonna go to another one, come on. Create it, just click on the plus sign, and I'll rename that one, I'm gonna call it rough. Now, once I've got those, I'm gonna go back to my floor. Here's my title block that I just spent all this time designing. Just grab it, Control C, open up your foundation plan, Control V, paste it, go to your next one, Control V, paste it, and you've got all of that set up. Okay? Yes?
Sometimes when you transfer them, it takes a minute or whatever. What's the one that you have to click that shows everything? That one that has a little lock on it. Anyone know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
What I have had is I paste it in, I can't see my text occasionally, but just type regen and it will come up.
Region.
All right, so that should set up all your paper space stuff. Okay. Please design your title block. You don't have to do it today, but I think it's a good time to get started on it. Get this thing behind you. Okay? Anything else on a template that we need to do?
Probably.
What's that?
I don't know, something.
Printing, your font layout for printing?
We can. Well, let's just wait till we print. Okay. I'll cover that when we're ready to print our first times, and it will be next week. Okay? Yeah, normally you'd do a plot save in here. I do not want to do this right now. We've got the photo paper loaded in roll 2. Okay, so if we get in there, invariably somebody's going to accidentally hit the enter sign and send a plot, and we're going to burn that plotter paper up.
Yeah.
So let's not do that until we're done printing 3D models. By the way, I do want all your 3D models printed by Monday end of day. All right, I think we're pretty good here. We can add to this over time if we need to. Certainly, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of blocks because it's kind of how we work. So I would recommend that you update this template when I do that. Okay. So we're pretty good here. Let's save this as a template. We've already done that. Just hit save. And we need to actually close that one. My ArchD. I'm going to save that. Close it. Once you've got it saved, now you should have it available to you, and open it through your front box so it gives it a name, Drawing 2. All right, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to come back and show you just how I would go about producing this drawing and what the information you got means. So we'll take a break and pick back up.